friends, but she's becoming a good friend. And I'm going to tell you who she is in just a minute. But as always, I'd like to know where you are, what you're doing, and just say hi as we start this party. We are going to talk about winning at work, especially with women, because it's a little bit more challenging with you're a woman, but we had some phenomenal things going on. And I think that you'll be really, really pleased with what we have to offer today. So I am super excited. Oh, hey, you guys, how are you? I always like to see your shining faces. So good to see you. I have to check it on my phone. It's like I'm always so nervous to like leave leave Zoom and go over there and then come back. But everybody is popping on. So let us get started because we were running a little bit late as we worked out through some technical issues. But you know, that's the way it is when you are going live. So let me introduce my guest. Her name is Tiffany A. Washington. She is the founder and CEO of Transformation 7. It's a professional speaker, author, and business coach. She is. And her company provides training and workshop services to help emerging entrepreneurs and career professionals, I love this word, amplify their brand, accelerate their goals, and achieve freedom in their respective industries. Thus, transformation occurs. She's a former assistant principal. She utilizes her leadership capabilities to inspire women. And you can catch her doing all sorts of stuff, including hosting her YouTube series, 2 Minutes with Tiffany, where she gives tips on how to win at work. And you can also find her on Instagram and through her website, and we'll give all of that information coming up. But first, I want to talk to Tiffany. Welcome to the Facebook page, my Facebook page.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I certainly appreciate it. I look forward to the conversation we're going to have tonight.
I do too. And we have had conversations, so I can tell you it's going to be good. Like I've talked to Tiffany. And so, you know, with full disclosure, she is hosting an event in Houston. So we're going to talk about that too. But it focuses on everything that we're about to share today. So I'm extremely excited. One of the things that I love talking about is the whole entrepreneurial space, especially as women, because I think we get very isolated. The struggle is real, and we always think it's just our struggle and nobody else is having the struggle. And so some of the things that I know Tiffany likes to talk about is, you know, mindset, monetization, your message, media, and then also like how to grow your brand and demand more for your expertise, which I don't think we do enough of. So she is doing Women Winning at Work, and we'll talk about that. But first, let's start with your mission, Tiffany, and why you've decided that this is the space that you want to operate in.
Well, one of the things that started this whole brand, Women Winning at Work, was my personal experience with workplace bullying. And that inspired me to write a book called Women Winning at Work, because I didn't have the things that I thought were necessary in order to help me get over that hump, especially being a leader inside of my field. Right. And as I wrote that book over the course of 21 days. And during that 21 days, I decided You know what? It's something that was really on my heart, and I prayed through the whole situation, and I made sure that I got that book out. And that book turned into my platform, my speaking platform. So the reason why I started Women Winning at Work and the first brunch that went along with it, it started out as really a celebration of that book, like a book signing, the unveiling. But people loved the information that I shared so much that it became our annual signature series. And when I started, it was really just about not just empowering women, but teaching them the tools, the skills, and the techniques necessary to amplify, as you would say, their careers. And now it's turned into the business coaching brand that I've established today.
You know, it's so interesting because I used to say, and you can just give me your feedback on this, but I used to say that, you know, being an entrepreneur and being good in your business when it's owned by somebody else are two different things. But what I have come to find that I think is really, really interesting is a lot of people will work harder for an employer than they will for themselves. I mean, they do a lot of things that say that they're working, but they really do not have the same commitment level that they do for their boss. Like, you know, their boss says, okay, you got to be here at 6 a.m. and we're there with like a whole box of donuts for like staff. Right. You know, but for our business, we're like, oh, we'll get to it at 9, you know, looking for us before 8, you know, who cares? Right. And so I think it's really interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that we give ourselves permission to let go a little bit when we become business owners, and we're not as hard on ourselves sometimes because we are the boss, and that's what we got into business for, right? So that we could make our own rules. But some of it is we need to have that same amount of pressure because that 9 to 5 was our training ground for what we need to be doing inside of our business. Now, I'm not saying we need to run ourselves into the ground as we may have for our jobs, but we need to keep that same level of commitment to ourselves, because when we start saying no to ourselves, that's when we start to see the decline in business before we even truly get started. And you need that tenacity and momentum, especially early on in your business.
One of the things that I've started really focusing on in my business, because I'm a worker, like I am a worker, and I take great pride. I'm Jamaican too, so it's like I work at a lot of different things. Pride of, being able to work hard, and so I'm glad that I have that. But I also, like you said, I mean, there's a difference between working hard and being productive.
Right.
And I think that I would get caught up in doing like lots of things, but I don't know how many of those things were actually impacting my business. And so one of the things that I really started saying to myself, and this goes to your whole mindset piece of it, is that I want to be successful with ease and flow.
Yes.
Like I want to be successful with ease and flow. And so it has really changed, I think, the way that I approach things. Because, if you don't get 20 emails sent on Thursday, they will still be there to be able to be sent on Friday. And it may be more important that I spend time with my kids or walk my dog or really take care of myself as opposed to performing. But I think we're so used to being performers that it's hard to dial that back because we think we won't be as successful.
Absolutely. And I definitely love your phrasing, ease and flow. But the thing that brings ease and flow are systems and strategies. Yes,
so no, absolutely. Absolutely.
One of the things that we really need to put into practice if we want those easy flowing days are the systems that take place on the front end of our business. And that's where we need to focus a lot of our attention on the money generating activities. Is what I'm doing helping to bring more money into my company so I can have more of these vacation days or lying on the beach or living that laptop lifestyle that I really desire? So I think it's very important for us to know that it's not cool to just look busy. I hear a lot of busy and booked, but I don't want to be both busy and booked. I want to be a little busy, but I want to be booked all the time.
No, I really, and like you said, I think mindset is such a big part of it. Mm-hmm. Because first of all, I mean, I think it's two different mindsets between being employed and being an entrepreneur, and neither one of them, right or wrong, it's your decision, but they're two different mindsets. And I tell you, like my first year of full entrepreneurship, like was the biggest faith walk I think I've ever taken. And it still is. Because so many of our businesses reflect our personal habits, our personal mindset, the things that we think nobody else sees, like, the chaos we feel inside absolutely shows up in our business. And so I think that, that is, because I used to tell people all the time, like when I had a job, I was like, I am not here to be a life coach. Like, I don't want to help you with your life. I want you to go I want you to be, get transformed by Tiffany first. You can come to me and I'll give you some solid strategies, but nothing I can tell you or share with you or anybody can share with you will be successful if you're not in the right frame of mind to get it done.
No, absolutely. I think as far as the mindset of a business owner is concerned, you really have to, I think it's a set of training that you have to go through to be a business owner, just like you have to get the training and skills for whatever your formal 9 to 5 is.
But not many of us think of it like that.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because we think that because I'm a business owner, I get to call my own shots and do it my own way. But the people who are ultra successful, they have a certain way that they do things. And they make it look easy. But remember, we're only seeing one side of it. We're only seeing the side that they decide to show. You don't see the back end of it unless you have your mentors or the people that you're paying in order to show you what those steps look like in order to have that flow in your business.
And I think it's interesting because I think that also people get confused with systems and things being pretty. And I am not a fan of things being pretty. only because I think it's an excuse for people to procrastinate until they're pretty enough to show the world. But I think that when you have systems, you can do things really ugly because the systems are in place to catch the things that might, fall through the cracks. And by it being ugly, I don't mean it being unprofessional. I mean, obviously, if you're in business to deliver a service, you have to deliver that service. But you don't have to wait until everything is absolutely perfect for you to get started. And I think a lot of us that are in this online space do that. Like, we want the perfect website, and we want the perfect lead magnet, and we want the webinar to be perfect. And that's just not the way things work.
Right.
And so, but the systems, like you said, customer service follow-up, just making sure. One of the things that I realized I was doing, like, I was hiring VAs all the time to do the same job, and I would be spending so much time training, my virtual assistants to do these jobs. And one day somebody said, well, why don't you just create a manual? And I was like, oh.
There you go. That's a system.
That's like a very basic system. And now look, trust me, I have like a whole library of manuals in my business because I didn't realize, that's something that, and all that's all a system is something that you do over and over and over. You create a process in order to make it easy. And so I'm glad that you said systems. What do you think is the other biggest challenge, especially for women, when it comes to winning at work?
I think one of the other biggest challenges is taking our eyes off of what the vision is that's been placed in us and starting to look at our sisters to the right and our sisters to the left. What is everybody else doing? And so you start getting shiny object syndrome, or you either start to get a little bit jealous. And we don't like to use that word, but sometimes we just have to call a thing a thing. It's like, how did she get there? I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm putting in the exact same amount of work, and I'm not getting the results that X, Y, and Z is getting. Right. And so I think that's one of the things that we really struggle with, instead of taking an intrinsic look at ourselves and a deep look at what we want to achieve inside of our business, and then creating a very solid plan for moving forward with that thing that aligns with our vision. So I think that's one of the biggest struggles that I've seen so far, as when I collaborate with other people, when I'm coaching other people in business. That's what they say. Well, so-and-so is doing this. Well, ma'am, you can't make $10,000 in your business until you've made 1,000 consistently. Let's not do that.
Yeah. There was somebody posted a meme the other day, and it's like, how do you have consistent 10K months? And they're like, you have a couple 1K first.
Exactly.
Like, we want to skip, but that's just like it's the whole overnight success. It's like you look at somebody, you're like, oh my God, like, how are they doing this? And they'd be like, yeah, well, I'm 8 years in. This is like your day 2. Like, I'm year 8. So I think it's really interesting. And I think that you're right. Last year, I always have like a word, like this year, my word is execution. Like, I'm tired of planning. I'm tired of coming up with ideas. It's like, I just want to implement quickly. Right. And I saw something like, in December of last year where it was saying money likes decisiveness. And so I was like, this is my year of execution. But last year was my year of collaboration, because I recognize that so many of us try to do this in a vacuum. And even if we have some similar skills, most of us do not. And so to collaborate in order to build different things for people that will serve them in a different way is very smart. And honestly, are doing it, right? Yes. So, and the men are doing it. And so for us to be like in our feelings and not wanting to work with other women, but then, and I was also having this conversation with my good friend Danielle Winningham, who I'm sure you probably know out of Houston.
I'm familiar with.
We want people to come to you with a collaboration and be confused when you say no, but it's not set up in a way that anybody will win. Right? Exactly. Like, let's get together and do this. And I'm like,
how's that mutually beneficial? Yeah, I think we forget that sometimes.
And how is it going to work? So I think collaborations are good, but I think you have to really take the time and make sure that it's going to be a win-win situation. And it's not just me doing you a favor so that your product wins. That's not the idea of a collaboration. That's
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's one of the things, that's a good lesson for everybody to learn. When you're approaching somebody, even with a collaboration, you already need to have in mind some of the ideas that the other person that you're asking can walk away with feeling good about it. You know, even if it's not money, there needs to be other things that you can offer, not just, oh, we should really do something together, or you should come speak for me. Okay, well, what's in it for me? That's what people want to know. What is in it for me?
Somebody sent me a LinkedIn inbox the other day, and they were like, we should talk about how I can help you grow your platform. And I was like, okay, great. You know, and then I Googled them and I was like, really? Is that what you thought? So it's like, we don't even do research on like the people that we reach out to. We just, blanket everybody and try to get what we can. Exactly. And I think that's interesting. But I think the other big challenge for us, especially as women, is really asking for what we're worth. And I posted something the other day and I was like, my fees are not dependent on your budget. They're dependent on my value. But a lot of us don't approach it like that. Like we almost apologize for asking what we possibly, think that we're worth. And so what strategies or what suggestions do you give women on how they can start, and men too, because I think men do this as well, especially when they're starting out, on how we can raise our prices and really ask for what we feel we're worth?
The way I would approach that question is with a quote that I've been seeing floating around. If it takes me 10 years to get to a certain place, and I'm charging you a premium price, I'm charging you for those, even though it takes me just 30 minutes to do it, you're paying me for the years, not the amount of time it took me to do it, right? So
that's why I tell people, don't ever charge hourly.
Right.
I may give you $1 million result that took me 30 minutes to put together. Just
exactly.
Like yes. Never charged by the hour. Charge, like you said, for the results.
Yeah, for the results that you're going to get. And I think that is the key word there. When you are deciding your prices, you need to determine what kind of result people are going to get based on the product that you create or the service that you create. And when you're thinking about your pricing, one, there's always market research. Two, you always have to take into consideration whether or not people know who you are. Are you known for what you do or not? And if you're not, then have some entry level pricing and continue to build after you get your testimonials. That's kind of the way of the world, especially in the online market. You want to show and prove first, get those testimonials, and then raise your price based on the results that the people get that you're working with. So that's how I would say, and just raise your prices and don't negotiate your price after you've raised it, because a lot of us start quaking in our boots like, oh my goodness, I've never charged this much before. And if she asked me to go down, I'm willing to go down by at least $500 and still be okay. At least I can pay my bills. We start making excuses for ourselves when the reality is we deserve it. And I think that's the other mindset piece, right? We have to know that we deserve what we're charging for, because they're going somewhere else and paying that same thing and not asking two questions about it. But if you have to be confident when you get ready to introduce that new price. So if I'm charging $2,000 for a product, it's $2,000. Now, if you want a different level of services, if you want me to take out some of these things, I can create a new package for you that's within your budget if I want to do that, and then you'll just get these two things instead of these four things.
I think one of the things that I've learned, and I was taking some coaching, and it was, on the pricing and the launching and that sort of thing. And one of the things that I walked away with that I had never thought about before is because so many of us have operated in a space for so long. Like, you were at your job and you walk away with a certain amount of experience. I walk away with a certain amount of experience, and we expect everybody to be at that same level of experience. And so I had one client come to me and like her first package was like $10,000. And I was like, it's great that you have a $10,000 package, but do you have an audience that is going to pay $10,000? Because at the end of the day, if nobody's going to pay for it, it doesn't matter. And so a lot of us don't take time to really grow our audience like we grow our business. And so sometimes you have to start at that $597 package and give them a little bit. And then you grow them to $997, and then you grow them to $29, and you grow them. Because if you just come in with this mastermind price, they can't even conceive of what they're going to do with this information.
Exactly.
And so I think that that's really interesting that that you say that. I mean, I think charging, and I know people who charge, their prices get raised every year like clockwork because
Hmm.
they've added different skill sets to their own. They have another year of experience. They have, like you said, more proof, social testimony. So it makes sense, but they're also growing their audience to a point where people can pay that.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think that's a great point that you just made there. We have to continue to grow ourselves. We can't just expect to get the bag, if you will, secure the $10,000 a month bag and not do any work within ourselves. We still have to keep up with our own trainings and our own development. So that's what I like to tell women that I work with. What are you doing for yourself to prove and to substantiate the price that you want to charge? So yeah, I
No,
agree with you.
absolutely. I mean, it's just there's just too much going on. Like you just cannot. I mean, even with just like Facebook, like something changes every single day. So
Yeah.
if you're like a social, media marketer and you don't understand like all these changes, it gets crazy. And if you're, using it to promote your business or grow your visibility, you've got to understand like all these things that are going on. So you have put together, like you said, your signature event where we really talk about all of these strategies. We sit down. It's an entire day in Houston that everybody is welcome to attend, and we'll certainly put the link in the comments so that people can get more information. But let's talk about it because you've got a phenomenal lineup of women that are going to be there, just pouring into the people that attend. So let's talk about the event.
Absolutely. So, as I mentioned earlier, this event started about 3 years ago, and the Women Winning at Work Power Brunch has evolved into something that helps business owners. The fact of the matter is that 46% of the entrepreneurial world is made up of minority women. But of that 46%, we've only grown by 1% in the past 20 years, and that's appalling.
Okay, so
And
so explain that to me. So break that down, what does that actually mean?
so what that means is that compared to white males and white females, everybody that's not a minority,
Sure.
our businesses aren't making as much money over the course of the years that they've concluded in this study. So American Express collaborated with a research company, and these are the results that they came up with. So what that means is that for all of the money that our counterparts are making, we haven't been able to exceed that or even meet that. So we've grown by 1% in 20 years. and I can't, it's appalling. And that's one of the shifts that I had to make in the way I delivered the information at the Women Winning at Work Power Brunch, because that's something that we certainly need to address. And not just one person can do it, which is why I've invited all of these women to be a part of this experience. Because as you said earlier, we all bring different skills to the table. So of course, the lovely Miss Nikki Woods will be there. She'll be telling us how to get our whole marketing life together and what we can do to be more visible inside of our business and how we can start to immediately implement strategies that get us seen, get us heard, and get us paid. So that's one piece. And then we also, and I won't go through the bio of each person, but we have people like Christy L. Jackson, who is very big in the social media world. And she is going to teach us how to make money every single day in our business with digital products. And Fern Cardi Dawkins, who is a lawyer and used to work for multi-billion-dollar companies like Walmart. She was a lawyer for Walmart. She ditched that job and decided to open up her own franchise of Smoothie Kings. And because of that, she's become the top earner in that franchise and is scheduled to open 3 more this year. So she'll have a total of 5 under her belt before the end of the year, and she looks like us. And that's what I'm excited about. So these are the types of people that you want to be in front of so that you can find out, okay, what kind of mindset do I need to have to get on that millionaire track? What kind of mindset do I need to have in order to make money in my business every single day? So and of course, I'll be talking about messaging, how to make sure that everything is clear and concise when you get ready to deliver your message to your audience in a way that is compelling and in a way that is going to allow you to build a relationship. So we'll be talking about all of those things. And of course, money. We can't go to a business event and not talk about money, right? So Courtney L. Sanders and Latasha Norwood will be talking about those things inside of their respective industries as well. Courtney L. Sanders, I'm not sure if you've heard of her, but she used to be the Think and Grow chick. And yeah, awesome. And so she's going to be talking to us about how to leverage the money that we have in order to get more bang for our buck inside of our businesses. So it's not
got like 3 of my business crushes there. So it's like,
awesome.
I'm excited. I saw the lineup. I was like, oh, hell yeah. I mean, I'm really excited. It's going to be amazing.
I'm excited too. Several of those people, Fern will be at both the VIP and the main event. Christy will be at the VIP event only. We're hoping that she can mosey on over to the main event as well, but she'll be teaching. So there are 2 different tracks that people can take. People can either opt to do the VIP, which also gets them into the main event, or they can just do the main event itself. So there are all kinds of extra goodies that are involved when you do the VIP. So it really compels you. You get bottomless mimosas, for example.
Price of admission alone.
Yes.
So I just want to say, I mean, I'm really proud of you. I mean, I think you've done a phenomenal job with putting this event together, and I am super honored to be a part of it. But I mean, you know, it's like I always tell people, like, you know, you really have got to invest in yourself and your business. And somebody told me really early on when I just started talking about being an entrepreneur, that your business is going to grow in direct proportion to what you invest in learning and growing and becoming a better business person. I was like, no, you know, and now when I tell people what I spend just for my coaching, they're like, I'm like, but look at the business. You know what I mean? I can always see how my business has grown based on the investment that I have made to learn different things. And so everybody should always have a coach and a mentor, and you should always be mentoring and coaching, if you will. But these kind of events, especially when you see what the price point is, I mean, it makes absolutely no sense if you're available and in Houston not to be at this event, or if you can travel and get to Houston not to be at this event. For the wealth of knowledge that is just sitting right there waiting for you.
And, you know, I agree. And the thing about it is the price point is something that I actually struggle with, if I can be quite transparent, because I know that I'm trying to put something together that doesn't happen frequently here in Houston. And because of that, you know, you struggle with, well, will people pay for it? Is it because I know I'm providing the value, but I also wondered sometimes, and I'm just being honest because we all go through that intrinsic self-talk, you know, like, well, will people actually pay this price point for it? But like you said, after I came to the conclusion and I put it out there into the world, I'm like, this is exactly where it needs to be. And I think it's accessible.
If people don't want to pay it, they're not nearly ready for the information you're about to give them, honestly. Because everybody on this docket, everybody that's on this event is like major league. Like, this is minor. Mm-hmm. No, we're not little league. None of that. And I don't say that in a way to be, you know, vain or arrogant. I just know what everybody brings to the table, but I also know all the work that has gone in behind the scenes for everybody to get where they are. And so, I mean, I get it. I get it. But I think that at the end of the day, the people that are ready will be there. But I'm telling you, if you even have a little bit of interest, then something inside of you is saying, I need more. I need more nourishment. I need more growth. I need more. And it's more than worth the investment. So I'm excited.
Well, thank you. Thank you for affirming that. And I think the other thing to highlight here is that when you come to the event, the goal is for you not to leave the same. And because I am a teacher by nature and former assistant principal, all of that great stuff, I believe in interaction. And because I believe in interaction, you are not going to be sitting and getting, you are going to be interacting. You're going to be able to ask questions. We're going to break out into smaller groups. And I'm giving you fair warning, because when you start to become hands-on with things, that's when you start to retain more. And the goal is for you to walk away saying, how can I start to implement this tomorrow? Or how can I go back home and this evening immediately get to work on my business? So that's the value that we are going to provide at this 2-day event.
Okay, so awesome. So we're getting some very basic questions, and I appreciate everybody asking the very basic questions. So give us the date, location, and then the website for more information. And as Tiffany says, the website, if you guys could drop it in the comment box for me, that would be great. I would really appreciate it.
Okay, so the Women Winning at Work Power Brunch is going to take place on Friday, June 7th and Saturday, June 8th. Friday, June 7th is from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. That is the VIP experience. That's the 4-hour intensive that you're going to receive. And then the next day on the 8th, Saturday, June 8th, will be from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. And you can find out all of the details at womenwinningatwork.net. 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 Okay, so 3 times for your mind.
Yeah, so drop that in the comments box. And if you guys have any questions, I will be trolling through the comments and answering as we do. But I think this is extremely important. And so, like I said, I thank you again. Events are no easy feat. Like, I won't do one. Like, I'll show up to everybody else.
I think you would do excellent.
I know where my talents lie. So I am more than happy to be at yours, and I'm excited. So you guys definitely check out the website. If you know anybody that you think needs this information, certainly share. We'll be bringing you more conversations with some of the women that are going to be at the conference, so you get to know them a little bit better. But I appreciate you, Tiffany, and I can't wait to see all of the goodness that is going to come after June 8th, after we get to spend all this time. Just pouring into and networking and communing and doing all that kind of stuff with all the other people that are going to be there as well.
Well, I thank you, and thank you so much for having me. One thing I didn't get to say is that there is a payment plan for the VIP.
That was perfect. All right, so Tiffany Washington, okay, there you are. Okay, yeah, you were frozen.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay,
it was like the perfect period. I was like, she froze right on time, like not too early. I was like, okay. No, go ahead.
No, so I was going to say that if you're interested in a VIP, there are only 10 slots left. We're already 50% sold. It's a small group. We're going to be in a penthouse in a hotel. So I'm only accepting 20 people for the VIP. So you get to be up close and personal with them. And that is going to sell out. I'm pretty sure of it. So make sure if you want to do a payment plan, you could do a payment plan. It's 2 payments that you can divide that up into over the course of 2 weeks. And I also just wanted to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. And Nikki, thank you for having me. You've been such an awesome host, and I've had so much fun talking to you.
No, I always enjoy talking to you too. So absolutely, thank you guys. We appreciate you logging on. Like I said, if you have any comments, questions, we'll be hanging around, and we'll certainly get to everybody. But definitely check out the website, and like I said, we'll be back with at least one other person from the conference that can, share what their specialty is, their expertise is. And I think that it will be amazing. So have a wonderful Thursday. And we will talk to you soon. Thank you so much, Tiffany.
You're welcome. Talk to you all soon.